the camera. Give it off, down.
If you want to make a lot of money with a movie, you should make a movie about talking animals. That's been true for decades in Hollywood, stretching back to the early days of Disney. Talking animals transcend all kinds of cultural and ethnic barriers that might exist for live action people. And it's much easier to dub over talking animals than it is people with actual lips. Heck, even Milo and Otis was originally a Japanese film. That said, whatever business sense lies behind making films about talking animals, there's another factor in play. Animals are super adorable, especially when you're talking about baby animals, and especially when you're talking about baby pigs who wear hair pieces. That's right, this entry for Screen's Besties feature is none other than Babe. Although it's been 15 years since Babe came out, this is a movie that's still as watchable as ever, perhaps thanks to the timeless setting of a rural Australian farm. There's still a few jokes that seem rather stale, such as a farmer's cluelessness over the arrival of a fax machine. But in the end, you're still talking about a low-tech world, full of sheep and sheepdogs, and of course, the titular piglet.
What? You look like an intelligent, sophisticated, discerning young fella.
Who, me?
Yeah, follow me. Oh boy, are you in for some fun?
What are we doing?
This movie wastes no time at all in tugging at your heartstrings with a mildly disturbing sequence where Babe's mom is dragged off to the slaughterhouse,
Goodbye, Mom.
resulting in the poor little piglet being thrown into the farm of one Arthur H. Hoggett. Like any young orphan, he misses his family, quickly explaining to the sheepdogs that,
I love my mom.
and I'd be lying if I didn't say that I cry every single time. So Babe is off on his own, surrounded by strange new animals on the farm, including the sheepdogs who aren't quite sure what to make of him. Now, of course, there are a lot of talking animals in the film, and interestingly enough, the film makes use of some early CGI to make them seem as though they're moving their lips instead of the usual voiceover when dealing with real animals that have to speak. It looks pretty good even now, but at the time it was startling enough to win the film its only Oscar in 7 nominations. It was also nominated for nothing less than Best Picture. The last G-rated film to have that honor until Toy Story 3 came around.
What a nice young pig you be.
Although in a year with Apollo 13 and Braveheart, it's perhaps not surprising that it didn't win. That doesn't mean that it isn't super adorable though, and it's still one of my favorite films that involve talking animals.
You'll have to speak up. I'm a little hard of hearing.
As a character, Babe and the 40-something piglets that play him are almost immediately likable, especially when he runs around on his little piggy feet. But then he is introduced to us as a crying kid who wants his mom, and who can't relate to that feeling. It's a movie that kind of plays around with being dark for a while, by stating that the farmers are intending to fatten him up and eat him, or when wolves attack the sheep flock. And later on, Babe almost even gets shot when Hoggett thinks he might have killed an animal. It even gets downright sad from time to time, such as when Fly's pups are being sold off, but the film's at its best when it's more lighthearted. Such as when Babe and the duck invade Hoggett's house to steal an alarm clock, or when showing Babe's relationship with a kindly old sheep Ma.
Wolf. I'm not a wolf. I'm a pig. What are you?
You.
Pig. What are you?
I'm a you. A you.
You're a sheep.
I'll not be called a common sheep, thank you kindly.
Of course, the main thrust of the plot comes in a bit later in the film, when Farmer Hoggett finally decides that maybe, just maybe, Babe can actually do better at herding sheep than his sheepdogs can. Especially after his prize dog Rex gets a little uppity with him during a somewhat disturbing dog fight. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil this ending by talking about it because goddamn do I ever love it. Now, is Babe actually going to succeed in his quest to become a sheep pig? Of course he is, but not until the film makes sure that we all know that Farmer Hoggett is going to be ridiculed mercilessly forever if Babe fails. Legend has it that James Cromwell accepted the part of Hoggett only after looking through the script and assuming that since he never says anything, he'll only have a few scenes. But of course, Hoggett is in almost every scene in the film. The genius of this film's ending is how it ties Babe's success to the reputation of Hoggett, especially after an hour and a half of Cromwell basically being the patron saint of fatherly farmers. You want Babe to succeed because he's cute, sure, but for me, the real emotional resonance here comes from the fact that not only does he make Hoggett proud, but he also makes everyone else proud of Hoggett too.
Away to me, pig.
That has a lot of impact at the end of a film in which Hoggett has been thought alternately foolish or mildly insane by most of the people around him. It's an insanely touching final scene that never fails to move me deeply.
Ram-you.
What did you say?
Over the last decade, the technology of Babe has crept into some immensely awful films, with things like Beverly Hills Chihuahua and Dr. Dolittle coming along and convincing us that even when animals can talk, they probably should. And although The Zookeeper hasn't been released as of this filming, I'm going to go ahead and guess that it'll be just as bad as the rest of the crop.
Griffin, we need to talk.
The talking animal film isn't going to go anywhere, of course, but if you're ever down in the dumps over the worst examples of the genre, all I can recommend to you is to go back to one of the best and give Babe a whirl through the old DVD player. And you can do so knowing that the film has the screened Besties seal of approval. I'm Matt Rory from the Top 40 WKNBC. Shooting on set. Rolling. Camera's rolling. Hey, you want to make a lot of movie with the money? Man, that's a terrible question to ask. Piglet. Oh, Babe, he's so cute. Especially when he runs. I love it when he runs because a little tiny Babe.